We need to realize that because something exists, it does not have to be your reality. But I guess I should ask the question, because something exists, does it have to be your reality? Just because you're poor doesn't mean in 10, 20 years that has to be your reality. Opinion, right, is not irrefutable fact. So because people equate opinion to fact, we do things and put ourselves on a path of failure. Man, I'm not going to never get it. The man is stopping me. White people are stopping me. My cousin, uncle, brother, sister, mother, husband, wife are stopping me. When in fact, it's just an opinion. Something doesn't become a fact until you accept it. Which then leads me back to my question. Because something exists, does it have to be your reality? Because racism exists, does it have to be your reality? Because poverty, poor choices exists, does it really have to be your reality? But there's some things that are just facts, that are factual. And because we can't place it in our lives, we tend to reject it and replace it with opinion. Like all black people are poor, that racism affects everybody, that systemic racism is the cause for issues in education and homelessness and jobs and every single thing you look at. When in fact, in each of those areas, and I'm not saying it doesn't impact it, but in each of those areas, people have lived in it and overcome it. Why is that? Because if you don't think you can make it, that doesn't necessarily make it an irrefutable fact. You can, in fact, make it. What was that guy's name that called in and complained about me and called me a blankety blank cop? Yeah. So, because you say it, and that's your opinion, doesn't make it an irrefutable fact. The problem is that the fact that I have what I have and do what I do and say what I say and go where I go was refuted my whole life. Being told you're never going to be anything. You're lazy. You're stupid. What did my 7th and 8th grade teacher call me in Chicago? You're foolish. Lord knows I wish she was alive today so I could talk to her, tell her how foolish she is. But then you get the acquittal of Daniel Perry. The acquittal of Daniel Perry should tell everybody within the sound of my voice that the importance of class dictates how you are going to be perceived and how you're accepted in society. Regardless of what anybody tells you, regardless of how liberal somebody is, this idiotic word, what do we call it? Progressive, dumb word. No matter how progressive somebody is, the buzzword for being liberal. Or if you're a MAGA Republican and want to make America great again and support the Constitution and all that, to be a conservative, class dictates how you are perceived and how you are accepted in society. We can pretend like it doesn't matter. You could love living in a city where you live in poverty and your street's not clean and your house is torn up and owned by somebody in a suburb. But the bottom line, we keep screaming for issues in education, jobs, business, mass incarceration, when in fact, it's class. And Daniel Perry is showing you that it comes down to class. If you can present yourself tall, thin, curly hair, blonde, blue eyes, guess what? And let's top it off. I'm a Marine. You can get off too. How you present yourself and the money you have. Where did Daniel Perry's lawyer come from? And y'all better be careful. You better be careful with the killer of Brian Thompson. He refused to waive extradition in Pennsylvania. Now they got to have a hearing. And they got to present all the evidence to waive him to New York to present the evidence because it's already been charged, right? Great ploy to get hold of all the evidence that you have so you can refute it before you even get there. Where does lawyer come from? They said his grandparents. This Mangione kid who did the shooting, who allegedly did the shooting, said his grandparents were loaded, which means his parents probably inherited some cash too. So they got a really good lawyer. And nobody would talk about the lawyer, so the lawyer must have been good. And now he's fighting extradition. How could he do that? Because he's got a good lawyer, he's got money, and he's got class. And so what they're saying is that if you had enough money to afford a good lawyer, you could get acquitted too, even after you kill someone with your bare hands by choking them who never hit, touch, or came near anybody on the train. And then while they're standing there talking without a weapon, you walk up behind them, put them in a chokehold, choke them, break their neck, and suffocate them. So if you're going to pick any one of these ideas, if you're going to pick any way of winning in America, there's only one thing you can pick. Not home ownership, not starting a business, not getting with your friends and opening up something. It always comes down to one thing. And when you see people with it, you tend to think they're great, right? They even use the word to talk about black girls. And I kind of push back because that's not what they are. But in the end, what created them was the one thing I talk about today. The one thing I talk about as something that you can take with you, that no one else can take with you, even if you die. If you look at the people that win, the lawyers, the medical doctors, the middle class, the executives, the $50 million insurance executive that got killed, who would have turned up all this drama for somebody in Milwaukee who got shot and killed? But let it be the CEO of a major Fortune 500 company and watch the world turn upside down and in on itself to make sure they catch somebody. So much so that it became a national news story, and they actually found this person in Altoona, Pennsylvania. Think about that. So don't listen to Elon Musk. Don't listen to anybody from Apple. Don't listen to anybody. Don't listen to Jeff Bezos. Don't listen to the Microsoft guru. Don't listen to the CEO. Listen to your parents. Listen to your friends. Listen to what works. Because something exists, it does not have to be your reality. How do you change that? Well, for me, regardless of what y'all say about girls, for me, the closest thing to magic in America is education.
And that is Dr. Ken's Truth on the new 101.7 The Truth.